okay, I feel like I sort of owe it to you to make this video to show you in real time, indoors, not in an office, what my hair is looking like these days. So to put this in perspective, this is on Saturday. I'm filming this on Saturday. And the last time I did the zero guard buzz cut was Monday, but not Monday of this week, the Monday before. So I'm actually pushing 2 weeks since the last time I did my last zero guard buzz cut. So in theory, this is looking pretty close to a 2 now, isn't it? This is like the equivalent of a number 2 guard. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and I haven't shaved in 2 days, if you're wondering about that. So it's interesting because, you know, from this point forward, we're getting into a situation where you're gonna start seeing my hair get longer than you've seen it since February. You know, February 2018 is when I got into the habit of doing the zero guard buzz cut as the new norm. So here we are in real time. What month is this? May, you know? So videos that are shot chronologically, you know, after this video, my hair is only gonna be getting longer and longer. So that's fresh and that's new. And it's gonna be interesting to see at what point my hair just really starts getting awkward. Because I'm gonna say this, I feel this, what I'm gonna call this number 2 guard equivalent, looks pretty good, actually. I think, and also it requires less facial hair. I can get away with it more. We can see the color coming in. We can see more definition of the hairline being such the V that it is, which is why, you know, there's the debate whether I'm Norwood 2, because that's the V, or Norwood 3, which would be the M, where it's rounded here. And in theory, if you ask me, I am softly rounded. It's not super rounded, but it's a little bit softly rounded right here. And this is definitely a point here. So to me, that's Norwood 2.5. And that's becoming more obvious, but in the same time, I mean, what's funny is if I'm not like standing in your face like I normally am, like, it was funny because remember that guy, Chris Chen, when I was in Florida and I shot the video with him in the hotel room, remember that? And he was saying, like, I said, okay, stand right next to me and we're gonna shoot the video. I said, it's gonna be kind of awkward because we're right next to each other. He's like, Nick, what are you doing, man? You're not supposed to stand that close to a camera. There's rules of thirds. The way professional videographers do it is everything's in third. You should be either here or here or here. I'm like, yeah, but my subscribers aren't used to that. They're used to me being right in their face. But anyway, okay, let me stand 5 feet away from you, which would be more of a normal thing. If we were standing in a room talking, this is actually what you would see. So if you were looking at my hairline, this, to me, as I'm looking at myself, this almost falls in the category more than anything of just a guy that has maybe a tall forehead. It doesn't necessarily mean receding hairline. And I think that's something that I'm even trying to sort out now, is I use the term receding hairline a lot. But receding, of course, I'm an English major. I have an English degree. I went to college for that. Yes, I have a college degree in English. So receding is a present tense. It's not receded, right? Receding means it's still receding. And of course, it's been doing this noticeably on my end since about around the age of 20, you know. I've been like on the cusp of Norwood 2 for like a decade, and then kind of leaving Norwood 2 for about a decade, you know. So, because I'm 37, so I mean, for basically, you know, nearly 2 decades, I've been having this receding hairline. So do I just call it a receded hairline? Because is it really going back much further, you know? And just like you, for yourself, no one's gonna know until years from now, you know. What, 3 years from now when I'm doing these videos and I'm 40, you know, I'll be like, okay, well, go back and watch my videos from when I was 37 and do a comparison and see what you think. Do you think it's receded even more? So I think this totally works for me. What's funny is I bet my wife would actually be okay with me keeping it a number 2 guard like this. And I would be okay with it for a while, but then I'd get bored with it. I'm like, the way I am, I'm like, even if this works, I think I'd just rather have even a little bit of hair up here if I'm gonna have it this long. Because to me, the excitement, the fun in having a true buzz cut is going to a 0 anyway. And having a beard, like that just looks the best. As I've looked back at the thumbnails of my own videos on this channel, my favorite ones are the ones where it is a fresh 0 and it is a 2-week-old beard. That's the best. And it's funny because I've got to the point where that's how I envision, I know this is so weird, that's how I envision a perfect man looking. Like, good looking men have a zero guard buzz cut and a decent beard. And so it's funny because here I am, in July it will be 10 years that my wife and I have been married. And here I am talking about what the ideally attractive man should look like. But I'm not ashamed of that. I think it's important to openly talk about that. I think it shows obviously my own sense of confidence, but my own sense of understanding who I believe I am, my own identity. And I think it's important for you to do the same. I would think as well that you have to know what you think looks attractive for a man, because it may require you to reinvent that thought. If you think a man like Ryan Seacrest is the epitome of what a good-looking man looks like, this perfect jawline, perfect teeth, this perfect tan, perfect hair. And granted, I'm 5'9", he's I think 5'8.5", so he's a little bit shorter than me. So other than the height thing, but either way, my point is there's this classic version of what it means to be attractive. And it's funny though, because in the process of the last couple months of me doing the zero guard buzz cut consistently, and I think some of you have even pointed this out, that my own idea of what it means to be attractive as a man has already changed. I actually truly think that a man without hair, shaving it down to zero and having the beard, I think that is just the best look. So sorry to bring up Ryan Seacrest again, but our family watches American Idol and therefore I watch it. But I'm watching it and thinking, man, what would happen if Ryan Seacrest buzzed off his hair and grew a beard? What if Paul Rudd did it? I keep envisioning these people doing that. So yeah, it's been interesting to see how the zero guard buzz cut for all these months has changed my perceptions and my views on that. And now I'm now leaving that, I'm now entering back into the hair world, back to where you can actually see some color in my hair. And it's funny because even then, just then when I did this, I think this is a little thing that I don't like, is to look at myself really close, say in the mirror, and it gives this illusion that I've got all this hair in the back, but then it's super thin hair. While I acknowledge there is thinner here, but in reality, I think it's more of an illusion more than anything. I think when you look at this, you're actually seeing what's actually going on, which is another reason why ultimately I loved having the zero guard buzz cut, because when I assessed myself in the selfie cam here, when I didn't have hair, all I was doing is man, I love this. This looks awesome. But now that I'm getting hair back already, I'm assessing the hairline and all this stuff. And it's you don't have to deal with that when you're a zero guard buzz cut. But again, I think it's important that I'm challenged. What fun would it be for years just for me to look the same and to talk about how awesome it is to have a zero guard buzz cut and a beard? That wouldn't be fun anymore after a while. You need to see your protagonist challenged, right? That's why in the movie world, a sequel is no good if the protagonist is not challenged. If he doesn't evolve, then it's not a good sequel. Good sequels include the main character being challenged in new ways and evolving in the process, not just rehashing what they've done before. And this is going to be interesting to see how this works out, because even with completing my first week on the new job, I guess you could say during that my buzz cut was more like a number one. But I was already so far into this whole thing about I'm growing it out that I think part of me was thinking it's already in that awkward stage. And it's actually not yet. Again, I think most of you, if you're being honest, are going to say this actually doesn't look bad at all. So I'm not even to the awkward stage yet. I'll get there. So those are my thoughts on all this, and that's where how my hair is looking, and we're about to get into it. We're about to get back into the hair world, and we're going to see this happen. And man, I hate it that already I'm analyzing my hairline and talking about this. And granted, I'm doing that for you because this is the narrative of it, but man, I miss the zero guard buzz cut, but I know that ultimately this is best. This is best because this is a challenge for me. And I think it's more interesting and entertaining for all of you watching this, okay? So again, once we get much past this, it's gonna be all about me having longer hair than you've seen me have since February. So also reminder, I've already shot videos back when I did have the zero guard buzz cut and the beard. They're still gonna air after this. There's still like, I don't know, half a dozen or so of them that I filmed and haven't published yet. Okay, so don't think that I went back and shaved my head. Those are just older videos from like 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's all that is. So there you go. Don't get excited and think I shaved my hair off again. I didn't. I'm committed to growing out my hair. Here we go.